Hello everyone, here we are going to see about the unit 4 continuation part. In this here we are going to see about the fiber splicing and also its connectors and its types. So fiber splicing. Fiber splicing is a permanent or a semi-permanent joint between the two fibers and the process of joining these two fibers is called as a splicing. So there are three different types of splicing that can be done, that is fusion splicing, V-groove mechanical splicing, elastic tube splice. Influence on fusion process. So the self-centering effect, first one. So the self-centering effect is a tendency of fiber to form a homogeneous joint which is consequently free of misalignment as a result of the surface tension of the molten glass during the fusion bonding process. Core eccentricity. So the process of aligning the fiber cores is of great importance in splicing. So the fibers with a high core eccentricity can cause the depending on position of the relating cores and it will be offset within the splicer. The next one is fiber end phase quality. So the end phase quality of fibers to be used directly influences the splice loss. So when cleaving fibers for splicing, the end of the face of the fiber has to be clean, unchipped, flat and perpendicular to the fiber axis. So next one is fiber preparation quality. So when preparing the fibers for splicing, it is necessary to ensure that no damage occurs to the fiber cladding. So if there is any damage to the unprotected glass of fiber, it can be produced micro cracks which will cause the fiber to break during the handling, splicing or storage. Next one is dirt particles or coating residues. So if there is any contamination on the fiber cladding or in the V grooves, it can lead to bad fiber positioning. So this can cause fiber offset and can influence the fusion process extremely like bad cleaved angles. So next one is fiber melting characteristics. So when the fibers are brought together for a splice, some air gaps are present called gas bubbles. So if the electric arc should not be too intense or weak. So when the electric arc melts the fibers, the glass will tend to collapse inwards and filling the gap. So next one is electrode condition. So electrode condition means it is a high quality splices which will require the reproducible and stable fusion arc. So this fusion arc will be influenced by electrode condition. So this electrode cleaning or replacement is necessary from time to time. Fusion splicing. So the fusion splicing, it is thermal bonding of two prepared fiber ends. So this fiber ends are first pre-aligned and butted together under a microscope with the help of a microwave manipulators. So the fusion splicing of a single fibers which will involve the heating of two prepared fiber ends to that fusing point with the application of sufficient axial pressure between the two optical fibers. So the butt joint is then heated with an electric arc or laser pulse so that the ends are momentarily melted and bonded together. So this technique can produce very low splice losses. That is the average is less than that of the 0.06 decibel. So here we have it will produce low splice losses. So next one is V-groove splicing. The other name of this technique is mechanical splicing technique. So the mechanical splices which will join the two fibers together by clamping them with a structure or by epoxying the fibers together. So the simple method which will utilize the V-groove into which two prepared fiber ends are pressed. So the V-groove splice will give the alignment of prepared fiber ends through insertion in the groove. So the V-groove splice is formed by sandwiching the butted fiber ends between the V-groove glass substrate and the flat glass retainer plate. So the V-shaped channel can be either a grooved silicone, plastic, ceramic or metal substrate. So the splice loss depends strongly on the fiber size and eccentricity. So the mechanical splices may have slightly higher loss and back reflection. Next one is elastic tube splicing. So the elastic tube splice is a unique device that will automatically performs lateral, longitudinal and angular alignment. So it splices multimode fibers to give the losses in same range as the commercial fusion splices, but much less equipment and skills are needed. So the device is made up of an elastic material. So the central hole diameter is slightly smaller than the fiber to be spliced, and it is tapered on each end for easy fiber insertion. So this fiber expands the hole diameter when it is inserted, so that an elastic material will exert a symmetrical force on fiber. So in this method, the fibers to be spliced do not have to be equal in diameter. So each fiber will move into the position independently, and it is relative to the tube axis. Next one is optical fiber connectors. So the connectors, which are a mechanism or techniques used to join an optical fiber to another fiber or to the fiber optic component. So the connectors must allow for a repeated connection and disconnection without considering the problems of fiber alignment. So which may lead to degradation in the performance of transmission line at the joint. So here they have mentioned the requirements of the good connector designs are as follows. First one is coupling loss. So the coupling loss means the connector assembly must maintain a stringent alignment tolerances to ensure the low matting losses. So this low losses must not change significantly during an operation or after numerous connects and disconnects. So this will be losses around the 2 to 5%. Next one is interchangeability. So interchangeability means the connectors of the same type must be compatible from one manufacturer to another. The next one is ease of assembly. It means a service technician should be able to install the connector in a field environment, that is in a location other than the connector attachment factory. Next one is low environmental sensitivity. So the conditions such as temperature, dust and moisture, which should be have a small effect on connector loss variations. The next one is low cost and reliable construction. So it means the connector must have a precision suitable to application, but it must be reliable, and its cost must not be a major factor in system. And the last one is ease of connection. So it means except for certain unique applications, one should be able to mate and disconnect the connector, which will be simply and by hand. Next one is the connector types and components. So the connectors are available in the designs that will screw on, twist on or snap in place. So the twist on and snap on designs are ones used most commonly. So the basic coupling mechanism which is used belong to either which is used to belong to either butt joint or the expanded beam classes. So the majority of the connectors will use the butt joint coupling mechanism. So next one is first one, butt joint connector. So it means the key components are a long thin stainless steel, glass and also the ceramic or plastic cylinder known as ferrule and a precision sleeve in. The next one is expanded beam connector. So it means it will employ lenses on the end of the fiber. So these lenses either collimate the light emerging from the transmitting fiber or focus the expanded beam onto the core of the receiving fiber. So this optical processing elements will be such as beam splitters, switches, etc. and it will be inserted into the expanded beam between the fiber ends. So connector types. So the connectors are available in various forms, namely screw on, bay knot mount and push pull configurations. so which will include both the single channel and the multi-channel assemblies for the cable to cable and cable to circuit card connections. So here there are two types. One is the butt joint connectors and another one is expanded beam connectors. So the expanded beam fiber optic connectors. So it means the figure will shows that the expanded beam connector will consist of two lenses for collimating and refocusing the light from one fiber into other. So the use of the interposed optics makes an achievement of the lateral alignment is much less critical than with a butt joint fiber connector. So the fiber to lens distance is equal to focal length of the lens. So the collimating lens which will converts the light from the fiber into the parallel beam light, and focusing lens converts the parallel beam of light into the focused beam of light on the core of the receiving fiber. So the expanded beam connectors are useful for multi-fiber connection and edge connection for printed circuit boards. So these lateral and longitudinal alignment are frequently difficult to achieve. So the next one is optical connector types. So there are numerous connector styles and configurations. The main one are ST, SC, FC, LC, MU, MT, RJ, MPO and variations on MPO. So ST is derived from the words straight tip, so which will refers to the ferrule configuration, and SC means subscriber connector or square connector, which will, although now the connectors are not known by those names. FC, the connector designed specifically for fiber channel applications, was designated by the letters FC. LC, LC means lucent, which will be developed specific connector type. They obviously nicknamed the LC connector. Next one, MU. MU, the letters are selected to indicate the miniature unit. And the MTRJ. So it means the designation MTRJ is an acronym for Media Termination Recommended Jack. And MPO. MPO means the letters MPO were selected to indicate the multiple fiber push on pull off connecting a function. So these these optical connector types will be used for insertion loss for this type of connector with an 8 degree angle will vary from the 0 decibel of the no gap. So these are the ST connectors. So ST connectors will be looks like this, and SC connector which will be used for like this, and MU is this, FC connector is like this, and MTRJ will be like this, and MPO LC connector. So these are the different types of connectors and its figures, which are all used for the connection purposes of the fiber splicing. Thank you.